Julia, there's an extraordinary tale developing around Kingfisher, the Indian airline that has suspended all of its flights and has been in trouble for some time. And it looks like things are really coming to a head right now. But let's just talk a bit about the background to how the company got into the mess that it's in.
Yeah, so this is Vijay Mallya's airline, and flights have been grounded now for a couple of days. Basically, staff haven't been paid since March. The company's racked up huge amounts of debt, estimated to be about $1.4 billion.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is that, well, the Indian airline market is extremely competitive, and the idea was that he would have a full service airline offering large amounts of service. And when the cost structure of India's airline market is so high, that model just really wasn't going to work.
Right. I mean, it seems to be an extraordinary tale of an attempt to create, a very unusual attempt to create a full-service airline in a very competitive market that has blown up spectacularly. I just wonder whether Kingfisher is ever going to fly again.
Well, that's a good question. Obviously, they've got a lot of debt. Much of that has fallen on a lot of India's state banks. At the moment, they're talking about restructuring that debt. Vijay Mallya himself is trying to raise equity, hence the United Spirits possible stake sale.
Yes, that's another of his companies.
Exactly. So possibly selling to Diageo. So they're trying, but at the moment, no one knows whether they're going to have that debt restructured and whether it's really in anyone's interest. I mean, it's not really in the airline industry's interest to keep that airline alive, but then the staff haven't been paid. State banks are set to lose a lot of money, so it's more in the government's interest at the moment.
Yeah, but one would have thought that there must be room in the Indian airline market, which, you know, on the surface at least, you know, looks to be relatively big, and given that there are big distances between the cities, and the cities are very big, and there is a growing sort of middle class market for air travel between them, that there would be room for an airline like Kingfisher. I just wonder whether, first of all, is that true? And obviously, it's, you know, the evidence would suggest that it's not true. But also, what the mistake was it actually allowing the costs to balloon out of control in what is already a very high cost industry?
Well, yes. I mean, there is a lot of potential for the market. There's a third. It's a third smaller than China's, and really it should be bigger than that at the moment, so there's huge potential. The barrier to entry, it's a deregulated market, unlike in China, is very low, so that hence there's a lot of players in there. There's also a state, if you like, backed airline, so Air India, which was offering very low prices, and that was really what instigated this price war. So really the kind of the fundamental economics are not there, and the biggest one is really the fuel cost issue. So there's a huge taxes on that, which makes the cost structure very expensive for these airlines to operate.
Okay, so it looks like this was a very interesting experiment in creating an airline that has gone badly wrong. People wanted to fly on Kingfisher, but it just was the case that the costs got out of hand. I think there's a lot of lessons there for entrepreneurs all over the world. Thanks, Julia.